Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and we'd like to start off by saying we are sorry that you found yourself once again stuck in K-Guard. I am your host, Kevin Bradley, joined as always by my co-host, Kevin Gallagher. Again, get in the comments. Give us a better fucking name. We're gonna.
Kevin's kind of growing on me, man. At this point, I think at this point we got too bigger fish to fry than coming up with
exactly
a name
mogul shit happening that I'm sure we'll get going on. I'm full of arrogance and piss and vinegar because I just did a 6 a.m. class, and so I'm better than basically everybody. Did I do good? No, but that's the thing. That's the key. Is if you go to 6 a.m. class, you don't even need to be good.
You just have to be there.
If you get up and get to the 6 a.m. class,
it's a challenge.
You don't even need to get to the mat.
No, you just have to clock in and you go back home again.
You need one selfie, 6 a.m. grind set.
One selfie.
And then you can go home.
The Instagram post with like a little rabbit with a clock or something like that.
Yeah,
at his wristwatch.
Selfie of you throwing up the shaka, grind shit, like hashtag grind shit, hashtag Sigma.
Shit.
Everyone else is working hard.
A little coffee cup floating in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. And then the rest of the day, you do Sigma grind set posts about how everybody else is living life in the wrong gear. And
there was a real funny like collection of memes, and I can't remember any of them, but there was about 5 or 6 memes in a row that all talked about how people that train at 6 a.m. look at the rest of the world in the conversation. It was really fucking funny. It was really funny.
There was one of them that's like the world if everyone got up for 6 a.m. class, and it's like the Utopia meme. The future flying cars, Jetson.
Flying cars, right? Yeah, there was a bunch of funny ones on there.
Yeah, the guy that fucked up Dylan Danis attended one 6 a.m. class one time 5 years ago, and so he's better than Dylan will ever be because he's not about that.
Well, obviously the proof is in the pudding and showed out.
Yeah, it's really funny that he's gone completely dark. Just like he's real. Even he knows.
Oh, even he knows. I can't
post a single fucking thing.
He did talk shit about something. He did peek his head out about something. And I can't remember
this is
what
news
it was.
to me.
Post strangulation. It was something. Yeah, that's a good one. It was something. Something. It pisses me off that I can't remember what it was. But it's some calling out a MMA fighter. Maybe it might have been him calling out AJ Agazam or some shit.
We are news talking heads, and we recognize that Dylan Danis is officially not worth anyone's time.
No, it's funny. It's not even that funny. It's absolutely amazing, I guess, that he got choked out by some bouncer at a club. I just can't tell you how excited and beloved and full of joy I am that there is actually a video footage of Dylan Danis getting choked and tapping on some bouncer's fucking arm to fucking tap at a club. It's just absolutely beautiful, and I'm sure it was one of the greatest days of Gordon Ryan's life when he.
The minute that happened, Marcelo Garcia was like holding a glass, like he was about to take a sip of water, and he just like broke the glass, like damn it, it finally happened.
Yeah, like in the movies, he had his little pendant, and you see like the slow motion shot of like the Marcelo Garcia pendant falling to the ground.
Dylan needs me.
Dylan needs me. This is good. We're good.
Oh, man. I don't want to break up the flow too much, but like we usually like to do, just wanted to give a brief shout out to friends of the show and your friends as well. If you're at all interested in looking your best on the mat, no judges needed. Go to their website, check out all their gear. They've been supporting us for a long time. They'll get you set up with the best rash guards, combat shorts, gis, casual wear to let the people on the street know that you go hard at it in the gym at 6 a.m. class.
At 6 a.m. class, right. We got a bunch more sponsors coming soon.
Oh, yeah, but and those guys they're just a good brand, jiu-jitsu owned and operated, so go check them out, you know?
Troy Organo's my homeboy. He's actually doing a whole lot of stuff for my gym for me. He's doing all my shorts. I have a whole rack up on my wall now. It's my whole life now. I'm freaking entrepreneurial, baby. I'm selling anything I got can sell.
And in self promo goodness, our boy Kevin is selling super cool merch for Gracie Trinity. It looks really clean. So what you do is You Venmo him, he'll get you squared away, and it'll never come in the mail. He'll just have your money, and you can just
swear
like.
to you, Kev. I swear to you, Kev. I have a large rash guard and a large T-shirt coming to you. I'll throw you the T-shirt for free.
I'm not that fat, dude.
Are you large?
You know what? I'm a medium.
You're a little small.
But that's small. Okay. Hey, you know what? This is all enticing me even more because we've got an episode of my new show planned, Under Pressure. I'm going to be coming down to Florida to film with you at Gracie Trinity HQ, and that'll be where hopefully I've lost.
part of the showing will be me ceremonially handing you the gi and the rash guard and the shirt that you bought a year ago.
But hey. All this, before we get too much into the news, we spent a little time clowning on Dylan. That's always a good time. You've been up pretty early today.
I love that, man. I love
any crazy stuff going on we want to go over real quick, like
just in general in my life, or
yeah,
man, my life has just been a roller coaster ride of madness. Like today was a long day. I just started teaching day classes at my gym, so I was at Trinity. Trinity is about a half an hour away from where I live at. So I had to drive to Trinity. I had to be there at 8 in the morning. I had to be there at 9. I have a coach that is who runs my house with my kids program. He wants to be a fighter. He's actually a pretty good fighter too. He's actually a tough kid. This guy named Mike Schmidt. He's more amateur or whatever. It's a long road to get to the UFC from here, but whatever. It's his goals. Everybody's got that goal. But he's been dedicating a lot of time to me and a lot of resources. So I decided that I would dedicate some of my time. So I got there early and did some boxing work with him, and I fucking hate doing it. I just hate teaching boxing. I just can't stand it. We've talked about that before. It just makes me fucking crazy. It's like watching paint dry. I'm very good at it. I'm a very good boxing coach, but it's insane. It makes me crazy. So anyway, I worked with him this morning for an hour. Then I had a hour and a half class, and I taught a private lesson. Then I had to run home, eat. Then I had to be at a doctor's appointment on the other side of town to get it forward, and I shot right back out to Trinity. I've been going like all day long like a madman. I got cancer on my fucking ear. Got skin cancer. It sucks.
Yeah, my dad just got some skin cancer like lasered off. Is that what you're getting?
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. I was laughing the chick, the forgotten chick that we don't talk about. That's been my quiet chick for like fucking 3 years now. I still can't call her my girlfriend. I don't know what to do. It's just the weirdest relationship I've ever been in my life.
Dude, you need to get.
She told me, she laughed at it. She laughed to me about it. She told me to. She said, "You could tell everybody you're a survivor now," because she knows. She did it sarcastically because she knows how much of a glutton for attention I am. So I don't think I could go that. That's love. I can't do that.
No. That is, but to be fair, like you're so used to hearing cancer and thinking, oh no, there's a clock. And I remember hearing that my grandmother got skin cancer years and years ago when I was like 10. I remember like tearing up and crying, thinking, "Oh no!" But then I got informed, this is just going to be an annoying thing. Obviously, this is a very isolated,
cut that shit off.
Isolated case. Not making any general statements about skin cancer. But then, like 10 years later, I'm like, wow, okay. Oh, she's getting her skin cancer lasered off. Like I started to think about it differently. So when I heard like my dad was dealing with it,
well, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous.
Yes,
it's actually a big killer if you don't catch it and deal with it. But it's very easy to deal with if you catch it early. So all of you that are fair skinned like me and Kevin, you should be getting skin checks as much as possible.
All you fair Irish lads and ladies out there, please, the sun wants to kill us. It's wanted us dead for a long time. Let's not let it happen. Let's
not at all. Cancer's a motherfucker. I had one of my friends, good friend of mine, Simon. I've been training with him. God, we were white belts together. He's one of them weird dudes. I see him on occasion. He lives in D.C. and it's just the oddest thing. Like he just shows up into my life in the most random circumstances. Like one time when I was in LA, I was like, I get a call. And it's like, Kevin, I saw on Facebook, he's Polish. I saw on Facebook you are in Los Angeles. I am in Los Angeles too. Let us hang out. And I'm like, hey, what's up, Simon? Let's do this thing. Long story short, he got diagnosed with third stage 3 pancreatic cancer in hospital. And I mean, it's not stage 4, but it's not good. And anyway, long story short, just it's weird to have someone that I know that I've come up with that I've known for a long time. I talk to my guys at the gym about it, like find your family, kiss your friends. You never know. Kids don't even think he's 40 yet. Looking at got 2 kids, looking at almost a death sentence. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I think good point to general message everybody. If you're going through some losses like that, know that tons of other people are suffering with you. We hope you get through it. And admire the people around you, because you don't know when something like this will happen.
That was a good way to put a somber fucking tone on the good.
Hey man, look, we started talking about your live-in not girlfriend calling you survivors. So like, I don't know where you expect me to go from there. Like, well, in this hunky dory news, to segue to something else.
Another quick little segue. It's pretty funny. I was having drinks. So I train a couple Indian doctors, and one of my guys, actually he owns a bunch of property in Tampa, this guy named Pavan. He's my homeboy. If he's listening, I love you, Pavan. He's a dope dude. But he has introduced me to a bunch of his Indian doctor cohorts that I hang out with a lot. And one of the doctors at this little we had drinks at a rooftop bar last weekend for my buddy's birthday. And I talked to him, and I was asking him, and I said, oh, so what kind of medicine do you practice? He said oncology. And we laughed for a second because he looked at me and he said, I normally just tell people I'm a plastic surgeon, because as soon as I tell them I practice oncology, they just look at me. They're like, let's just change the subject.
Oh, Dr. Death.
Or the conversation normally goes to some grandma that died of cancer.
Yeah.
It's just no one wants to talk about oncology.
Yeah, it sucks because he does such an important good thing, and he can't really flex about it just because it brings the mood down.
He actually had some really cool insights on the topic. It was pretty fun. I was talking to him about like how he reconciles the idea that most of his clients are going to die and this and that. And he was like, look, man, like I'm here to do a job, and this is my job, and I do the best I can based upon, what I'm given. And like, you never know. They don't all die. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, if there's a 5% chance of survival, those 5 in 100 live. So every once in a while you get one that lives, and it's a beautiful story. So I thought it was pretty cool. It was cool the way he broke it down.
Yeah. And in news that some people might think is cool, because we do have to talk about some jiu-jitsu news. It's almost 20 minutes in.
People dying of cancer for the rest of the show. Even my mom clicked off.
In news that is sure to make a certain number of people happy and a certain other amount of people to go, oh yeah, that was a thing. EBI is coming back with a 2022 release date, according to Eddie Bravo. He's coming out, back onto the world stage with the show that people have missed. It's going to have a suite of names: Nate Orchard, Nikki Ryan, Ty Ruotolo. It's only going to be welterweight, the first show, and obviously big names, a lot of cool stuff. But I feel like in the time since the last EBI, a lot of stuff has happened. There have been new shows. And what was once this really prestige brand is kind of, has it been outpaced by the stuff we have now?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, first of all, like, nobody gives a shit about combat jiu-jitsu. I love you, Eddie Bravo, but you kind of fucking took a shit.
That's another thing we could talk about. Is
you put too much. You put all your eggs in that combat jiu-jitsu basket, and like I think it was a wash. You should have kept a runner with the EBIs, because you had the market corner for a while, brother. You had the best, most exciting shows out there in the beginning. Now you've got too much competition. To say that EBI doesn't have a viable case at making a run back, I still think Fight Pass is the best platform. If that makes any difference, I don't see how Fight TV or Flow Grappling can even compete with Fight Pass. So that's a step up for him. I not a big fan of EBI overtime. I just don't like it. It's just weird. I don't like it. I just think it's stupid. I think that it was something that was cool in the beginning and exciting, and people dug it. I just think that what we get now is guys, if you have to drill for EBI overtime and get ready for EBI overtime, it's like, what the fuck? Who gives a fuck about EBI overtime? Like, learn to do fucking jiu-jitsu. I'm not lying to you when I tell you that I would rather see a ref's decision.
Yeah.
Than I would see a EBI overtime, or maybe even like a golden point scored.
Yeah, overtime. Like where it's like sudden death. You get this one chance. But what's interesting is that there are really huge promotions that go hard on EBI overtime, namely Submission Underground. Like that's the biggest one.
Yeah, I mean, there's still Josh LeDuc still puts on EBI overtime events in his brackets. There's still regional events that use the EBI overtime format. It's hard for me to, in my mindset, the idea of automatically granting someone such a premium position as the back and then saying go from there. It's just silly. It doesn't, you didn't earn that position. You shouldn't be able to attack from there. It's just an odd thing that kind of breaks up. But what do? You got to have some way to call things. I still think I like the WNO format. I like the way they break it up into 3 rounds, and then each individual round is scored on criteria. And they show the lights at the end of each round, so the competitors actually know who's winning.
How they're doing.
It's 15-minute rounds. First 5 minutes, they put a light of red or green, red or blue. Second 5 minutes, red or blue, and then the last, when they put the arm up, they let you know who won.
Yeah. So, but let's actually, I think it could be cool to see if EBI is still the best at EBI type stuff. So I want you to imagine just like a dream card, dream event. You're like nailed to your seat the whole time because you don't want to miss a thing. Imagine that card at an EBI show and imagine it at a Submission Underground show. Because I feel like they're fairly comparable.
No, I love Seth, but
no.
Fight to, you mean WNO, not fight.
No. I mean submission. Wait, what did I say?
You said fight to win in.
Oh
EBI.
Shit! No. I meant submission underground. Just because I feel like they use same.
Which one has the better format?
Just because they're both on Fight Pass. That's like where I'm.
To be honest with you, I kind of dig Submission Underground's format. I like the fast-paced matches. I like the way they go after it. I like the way they shoot for it. I just don't like EBI overtime. I think you get a guy like Mason Fowler that's just tough to fucking submit, that's really good at EBI overtime, that ends up locking it out. When's the last time Mason Fowler won a fight in regulation? He just goes and coasts into fucking EBI overtime. I know a lot of guys, a lot of grapplers. To me, it's almost as annoying as guys that just play points matches that'll just pass your guard and hug. It's the kind of shit that anti-jiu-jitsu people do. You just coast your way into EBI, and then you're a bigger, stronger athlete, and you figure out a way to hold the guy, or you punch or fucking rear naked choke because you're a behemoth. It's the same thing as when submission-only guys are bitching about points guys passing their guard and holding them in the position and then not going for submissions and saying it's boring. That's just my idea on it. I just think that EBI overtime has become that. I know a lot of knuckleheads that have made a good living off of being tough to submit, that will just ride it out for 10 minutes, get into EBI overtime, and then they're fucking, monsters. They just grab you and hold you.
Now, do you think that was always the case? Because you remember those early EBIs? It was a new concept. It hadn't been boiled down to the studs yet. Obviously, Eddie had let his guys workshop with it before anybody else, because that's what he does. But I wonder, just because of how many great moments and huge names got built off of having the EBI belt.
Yeah, at the time, it was a new, fresh thing. The idea of submission-only grappling was like, what the fuck is that? It was there. It was in the coasters, but everything was points matches.
Metamoris was doing submission-only before EBI.
Yeah, but I'm talking even before that. I'm talking about, like, tournaments. I can remember being a blue belt in 2010, stuff like that, and thinking about, like, oh shit, they're having a submission only tournament in Orlando. You know what I mean? Oh, that's so cool. Like, we should go do that. But it was like just the fringe things that were like, no, never. It was just weird. It wasn't really like a real thing. Everything was Naga or points matches at the IBJJF. Yeah. So Eddie Bravo capitalized on that surge of submission only. I think, he was probably the first one to really bring it to the forefront, and then a bunch of regional guys jumped on it. Josh LeDuc and a bunch of other guys jumped on it. So in the beginning, it was exciting because it was fresh and new, and guys would go for those positions, and they went for submissions because they didn't want to. And obviously, it's very geared towards 10th Planet guys. That's their style. They train those EBI overtimes. I just think it's fucking stupid. I just don't get it. I don't like the idea of having your competitive jiu-jitsu. When I think of it, I think about the old school guys that talk about how jiu-jitsu is becoming a little bit
watered down.
Watered down. And I don't mean to
Yeah.
say that. Sorry, Eddie, and I don't mean that 100%, but it's just in my mind. That's what I kind of think about. What the fuck you're practicing to escape from the back, and you're doing those rounds like that for some dumbass fucking tournament. It's just stupid.
What I think is really interesting is that he landed one of the best spots for a jiu-jitsu event you can possibly hope to have, in like just prime real estate on Fight Pass. That's almost all the eyeballs.
Well, I can remember.
Yeah,
I can remember going to. I went with Matt Arroyo went against Gordon on one of the EBIs. I don't remember which one it was, the absolute or heavyweights or light heavyweights or whatever the fuck it was. It was when it was at the old Orpheum Theater in downtown LA, and that was that was super dope. That was one of the coolest events I've ever been to.
That was super like cool. Grace Gundram's debut, I think was
it? Was she on that card?
Yeah, I think. Well, if that was the only one at the theater, then yeah, that's the one I remember. And then Fight Pass said like she was too young to. They couldn't have her matches on there anymore.
Well, yeah, she was a phenom. Yeah, I hate it. I know a lot of my 10th Planet guys are going to be mad at me for saying that, but it's just more shit that drives divisions in the jiu-jitsu communities, and now the 10th Planet guys can say, well, you guys don't know what real jiu-jitsu is because you don't know how to fight in EBI overtime rules. You know what I'm talking about? Like, we don't know how to do you. And it's just, I thought we were past that. It's just a weird line of division because I still know 10th Planet guys that talk that way. And it's just like, no, I give a fuck. I'm pretty good at EBI overtime. I'll train for that shit.
Well, I mean,
get the motherfucker off my back.
But here's the thing: it's other promotions are just doing EBI overtime rules. So it's like, without even talking about the rule set, like I don't think that's the problem because it can work other places. I'm just wondering if EBI still means what it used to.
That's a very legitimate question, Kevin. We'll have to see.
Yeah,
we'll have to see if it still carries the same clout because I mean, I guess it's the welterweight, so it's tough. We'll see how many other big names sign up for it. I'm sure Eddie's still paying. The money is still the key. Who's going to pay the most? These guys all want to get paid. So if Eddie Bravo's dumping,
but why do you really like? If you wanted to, I know a lot of people have talked about this, and people have opinions as to why. But he had prime real estate on Fight Pass with an event that everyone cared about. No, but he just turned off the spigot. Like he just shut everything down for a while. That's insane to me.
That is, what Eddie Bravo does, man. I never liked combat jiu-jitsu. I tried to like it. I don't know, everybody said there was events. Oh, the best combat jiu-jitsu events ever, and I was like, I mean, not really. I don't know. I don't dig it.
You're immediately eliminating the possibility of a ton of the best grapplers in the world doing your show. Yeah, because they don't want to. They do jiu-jitsu. That's why they do jiu-jitsu. Because they want to get hit in the face.
Because they don't want nobody going to get punched in the fucking face. If you do, and that's where I'm like, dude, like, what are we doing here? It's combat jiu-jitsu. I was kind of on the fence. I thought back when I wanted to see jiu-jitsu become this like ESPN fucking Ocho late night thing. I thought that combat jiu-jitsu was the way to do it, just because I always thought the idea of, in order to be a breakthrough sport, you have to have people other than jiu-jitsu athletes watch it. And the problem is like fucking no one. Like, I love jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu guys didn't watch it.
I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I still get bored watching jiu-jitsu matches. So when you have combat jiu-jitsu, now you have the element of getting smacked in the face, and like every asshole at a bar could get excited about somebody getting smacked in the fucking face. Oh, they don't have to know what a Kimura is. They just have to know that he's getting smacked in the face.
But honestly, at that point, I think what happens, instead of people going, oh, someone gets smacked in the face, they're just wondering, why aren't we watching MMA?
Yeah, why don't? Yeah, that's it. Always just looked to me like it was just, kind of cool, but like a shitty form of MMA. It just wasn't, because guys would never really. Even last night, I watched Kyle Chambers and who's the other kid? I forget, the guy who won it on Sunday.
Combat Jiu-Jitsu, right?
Yeah,
Ryan?
He's Ryan something. Attican. Yeah, he trains with Chase. No, not Chase. Anyway, Ryan Applegate, I think it is,
Oh,
in Atlanta. And it's not Ryan, but I forget what it is. It might be Ryan. And I was watching him go with Chambers, and neither one of them threw a strike the whole time. These guys. It's just then you just get a jiu-jitsu match. These guys aren't utilizing the strikes in the way they're supposed to utilize them in the way Eddie Bravo. You're either palm striking someone to death, right, for like a TKO, which is just weird, or you're going into a straight jiu-jitsu match, which is just weird. You're not using the strikes to advance position. It's just a weird fucking thing. Like this is not a deterrent. If you're not going to punch somebody in the face, it's just not
it is a non-factor in any discussion as to who's like the most legit jiu-jitsu guy, the best jiu-jitsu guy. It like no one brings up, but what about this guy who's great at combat jiu-jitsu?
No one cares. I love Dan Martinez. I really do. He's my homeboy. No one really gives a shit
Austin
about
Daffron, really great combat jiu-jitsu record. Like
no one gives a fuck. No one cares.
I love you, Austin.
It's sad, but combat jiu-jitsu may have ruined Eddie Bravo's hold. Maybe not. Who knows? We'll see.
What about overtime? Like, what about that? Oh, I can't believe I forget what the latest one was. Just the overtime stuff. Like,
oh yeah, that's right.
What even?
Spencer Moomey actually did really well on that. Oh, my Spencer won a match on that against a good
What's
guy.
the name of it? I forget the name.
Like overtime. Like it was literally just called like the EBI overtime championships. That was it. It was just all they did was start from the fucking back or the armbar. It's just weird, silly.
Yeah, that's insane. It's a major tournament started by one of the biggest names in the sport, and I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, it's
extreme overtime.
It's a weird. Yell at my dog. Mute my microphone so yell at my dog. Yeah. Long story short, I'm sick of fucking talking about it. Like, I hope that EBI overtime does well. I'm excited to watch it. I'm glad that EBI is coming back. I think the buzz might be enough, but unfortunately, I really think that, just like you said, there's a bunch of other organizations that just do it better. I'm sorry, Eddie. I think you fucked up and lost it.
Yeah, that's about it. I don't have anything else to add. I don't want to go transitioning into a much more somber topic, but I know this is one you wanted to bring up. Bare knuckle boxing fighter, Justin Thorton, passed away, age 38, following his most recent bout under the promotion, and it's got a lot of people talking about bare knuckle boxing as a sport, BKFC as a organization. And I don't have a whole lot to say about this, just because I am very unfamiliar with bare knuckle boxing outside of the few times it's broken through enough with like one fight on the card to make me go, oh wow, Artem Lobov is fighting the guy that Paulie Malignani, or Paige Van Zandt fighting Rachel Ostovich. And I feel bad about that, but I've never really super enjoyed it. It's always been a little bit much for me.
From what I know of bare knuckle boxing, I actually know a little bit more than most. It's the guy who runs it, this guy Fielder, I think his name is. He's just got real deep pockets, and he just doesn't mind throwing money at it. The events have some pretty good production value. I went to one here in Tampa. I had a couple of our guys fight on the card. They 100% have some people fighting in that card that have no business being in the fucking ring. Like, I've watched a couple of those bare knuckle boxing events and just seen people that were so completely overmatched and so completely just literally lambs to the slaughter for the local hero that wants to sell tickets. so they can, and they pay pretty well. Like I'm telling you, like I got a couple homeboys made about $6,000 to go beat up some fucking tomato can. You know what I mean? Like I actually, I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of was like, God damn, $6,000 is a lot of money to go beat this guy up. Fuck, I could do that shit. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought about it a little bit, but there's, when you couple that philosophy and that amateuristic matchmaking and promotion value, and then you add in the idea that bare knuckle boxing is you're punching someone with no fucking gloves on. Like you add that element of danger to it. It's just a recipe for disaster. And I think we saw that now with the unfortunate death of one of their fighters. Now, fighters die. It happens. This ain't a goddamn knitting class. You know what I mean? You're in a cage, punching someone in the face. Like, people fucking die. That's what I always tell my amateur fighters. I'm like, bro, like, you do not take an amateur MMA fight on a whim. People die when they fight. It happens. It doesn't happen a lot, but it happens. Every year we'll hear about someone that died in a smoker somewhere, someone that died in an MMA fight or a boxing match. Now we've seen it in bare knuckle boxing. It's just when you add the extra elements of potential disaster, mismanagement and just the whole premise of boxing with no fucking gloves on with a standing 8 count, a 10 count. It's fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah, but unfortunately, with Justin, I think it's hard to say that he didn't have a resume that would make someone think that he deserved to be there. 6-8, like he had 6 wins in MMA, 18 losses, but still he's gone.
It's a lot of fights.
He's definitely put some miles on, and you would think, and someone just looking at that, he's won 6 times. That's he can do a sport like this. I think coming off of 24 fights over a long career against some really stellar names. He went against UFC heavyweight Chase Sherman, another UFC heavyweight Walt Harris. This guy's fought some serious people, and I
also lost 18 times.
Exactly.
Like who's his coach to let this guy continue to go out there and get his ass fucking?
It might be his
killed,
manager.
You know what I mean? Like, but that's the story of fighting in general. I just in general, I see so many poor fucking training camps and so many poor, gym owners and fighter promotions and fighter managements that they just lead these kids out to disaster. And it's kind of unfortunate. And I think that the bare knuckle boxing crew is just the worst culprits at it. They just don't give a shit. You take some guy and you call him, he's like, I almost did it. You know what I'm talking about? I almost fucking did it. I could have called him and been like, hey, bro, I will pack that motherfucker up. Get me $6,000. I'll come to a bare knuckle boxing match. You know what I'm talking? I haven't thrown a fucking punch in 10 fucking years. You know what I mean? But I almost did it because I was like, well, fuck, I'll make $6,000. You know what I mean? Now you take some guy that's literally, he's got 24 fights, but he lost 18 of them. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Now you tell him, all right, cool. We're going to pay you $6,000 to go fight this dude. He's like, hell yeah, I'll do it. Now, what do? You take gloves off. There's a standing out cut. And it's brutal, baby. I've said they want the brutality. That's what they're going for. This is the ever-evolving nature of what we're seeing in the fight game, and it's disturbing.
Well, here's the brain issues alone. I mean, this guy was paralyzed after his fight, and it was a long time in the hospital before he ended up passing away. You do anything even slightly strenuous after even a minor concussion, you could get fucked up. There was an NFL guard for the Chargers, Chris Dialman, had a normal game, got rocked pretty hard, was not officially diagnosed with a concussion, but went on a plane right afterwards, altitude change game with seizure, he nearly died. Yeah. You never know what's happening. And with the damage you're taking in MMA, we're talking about MMA, but we should be talking about BKFC.
Yeah.
I know that there have been a lot of arguments for why it should be around. I know that people have said a lot of things about the organization, the people that run it. But do you think that BKFC is the slippery slope that people like John McCain were talking about back in like the 90s when they were fighting hard to keep MMA from being a thing?
I mean, it's a very good correlation, Kev. It's a very fucking smart thing to say. What are we doing now? What are we really doing now? You really need to take the fucking gloves off of someone. You really need to do that. You really need to that. What advantage does that have? Like, what are we really doing? They only do that because people get cut and they get bloody, and it's real
Everybody's
fighting.
fate, like Artem Lobov has had many professional MMA fights, but at no time does his face look worse than after
No,
any
everyone. I
BKFC fight,
talked
win
not
or
just your
lose.
face, your hands. We had Jim Ayers on the podcast. He was a
Yeah.
BKCK whatever fucking fighting champion, and he's my homeboy.
Oh
He said
yeah,
every time he fights, his
he got
hands are
rocked really
fucked.
hard after he
Yeah.
came on.
Every time he fights, he says his hands are fucking swelled up and all cracked and gnarled and shit. Like, it's just fucking. I just don't know. That is serious human cockfighting. Like, there's not
Yeah.
really even much skill to it. Like, you watch these guys
Well,
fight, they're just
I
brawlers.
know from like I'm far from a striking expert from by any stretch, but when I see professionals breaking down bare knuckle fights, one of the biggest things is you realize how much more important the jab is. Just like how much more damage you can do with
working
like
off of
even
the
lighter
jab.
jabs. Just like someone's getting cut up and beat up just
without
from
a
that.
glove on. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, there's no to take it back to the John McCain thing. Yes, I always kind of thought of it what the fuck are we doing here? What kind of degradation of our society are we looking at now? What are we gonna do? We gonna give them fucking sticks next because that's real fighting? You pick something up in a street fight. You can pick a chair up. I can pick a fucking bottle up. We're gonna give them fucking guns and let them go run around the street. Is that the entertainment value we really need? Are we that barbaric of a society? We're going back to gladiator days and we're going to let the tigers come in? You know what I mean? What in the fuck, dude?
KFC, Knife Fighting Championship.
We might be onto something there, Kev. Keep on.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know. Daddy's got bills to pay.
Listen, obviously this is, I am hesitant to take away an avenue for someone to make money. Just because I get that, the guys that are fighting in this, it's more often than not because of a paycheck. You got guys that aren't cutting it in the WBC, the boxing or MMA. They're not making it happen there. And this is an avenue with a little bit of a lower barrier to entry. People were talking about if Yoel Romero went to BKFC because he went to a show. But if he signed up with them as a fighter, he'd be the most overqualified human being in any organization ever. It's like Fedor in Pride, where it's like he's playing with a cheat code or something.
I wanted to try to like it. I went.
Yeah, we gave it a shot.
I just can't do it. I never could really get on board with it. Every time I see it, I just be ugh. Like, and it's the other thing. Like, it's the standing 8 count. Like, what the fuck, man? Or 10, the 10 get back up. Like, you're going to take gloves off and then you're going to knock him to the ground and make him get back up again. Yeah, whatever. So anyway, I think Kevin's taking a little break. He's going to walk around. This is the part where I talk about myself for a few seconds. Like what is it? The guy from Wayne's World. You see my head start to blow up. Yeah, that was a quick left alone. I think we had some technical issues. Kevin came back with a huge
Ethernet sorry
cable.
about that.
You're good,
I just
man.
had to extend something. But
there we go. We got an extension.
I think that it sucks because there are some things about the business that made me interested. Like this Feldman guy, he talked a lot about giving fighters pension, taking care of them, investing in them. Obviously, that could just a guy like that could just straight up lie. Dana White has just lied and been wrong about stuff like all the time.
Yeah, so, I can't say that.
I would love it if someone tried to grill this dude for an update on that, especially right now. Like,
I can't.
Is his long-term partner going to get, spousal support? Is there going to be some stuff happening there? Because great.
Fighter pay is another one. I think we got one of them on the list to talk about fighter pay stuff. But
oh yeah, no.
when you talk about Felder talking about giving fighters pensions and all these other things he's talking about, it sounds cool, but like what you got to make the money to do that shit first. And I don't think bare knuckle boxing's making that much money, man. I mean, they made a lot of money off the Malinagi fight because they promoted the hell out of it, but no one really gives a shit.
And that was carried almost entirely by the Floyd Mayweather McGregor fight, just because this guy had beef with McGregor. He's one of his training partners, got dropped by him in training rounds. Artem Lobov, Conor McGregor, acolyte, best buddy, only dude he likes, it seems like.
Right. So now it's like, if you can beat my henchman, you get to fight me. And unfortunately, Malinagi couldn't beat Artem. So
yeah.
he didn't get the big payday.
Can I be honest with you? He could have dusted Artem Lobov in 3 seconds, and there's no universe where Conor McGregor would agree to fight him. Like there's no money there. Even
no.
What gets him out of bed? He'd probably just show up at his house, coked up, and burn it to the ground or something. But I think this is a natural segue to something else that we wanted to talk about.
Speaking of cocaine,
but more that the fact that an organization this shady and this morally dubious can get the high ground by offering something that the biggest organization for combat sports in the world is not offering, it speaks volumes. It sucks that this guy can seem more legitimate by offering a little bit better fighter benefits than Dana White is. And he's been in the news again because him and his best friend, Oscar De La Hoya, former championship, one of the best boxers of our lifetime, and, frequent drug enjoyer, went at it over the issue of fighter pay over social media. And I know that you, again, this was something you wanted to talk about just because you have some thoughts about how White responded, where instead of attacking he's made some comments like, they're getting paid fine, they're getting paid enough, like, we're working on it. He's been very vague. I can bring him up in a little bit, but he hasn't really done anything but call Oscar De La Hoya a lunatic, loser, drug addict. So, yeah, what were some of the things you wanted to talk about?
So, the entirety of this conversation can be summed up in one number. Right? The UFC right now is worth, let's see, I think it's like $9 billion. I'm trying to find it. For some reason, it won't come up. When you start to talk
about
$9
to $10 billion,
$9 to $10 billion, they sold, and that's 4 to 5 times what it was worth 6 years ago, 7 years ago. $9 billion. Think about that for a second. That amount of money, and now think about guys that I know that are fighting their asses off to make it to the big show, to be in the fucking UFC, to entertain us, to become the next champions, that have to work security jobs after they've made it to the big time. Like, think of a baseball player or a football player that would have to keep his job bartending or working security while he's playing in the NFL. It's unheard of. $9 billion. The fighter payout, the differential between the NFL, most major athlete, baseball, hockey, and football, the separation or the distribution of profits from the athletes and the company. Everywhere else, it's upwards of like 48%, 52%. In the UFC, I think it's like 17%. There's no fucking reason why Dana White and the UFC can't figure out a way to pay these guys. It's inexcusable. They make so much goddamn fucking money. When you make it to the UFC, if you win the contender, we give you $100,000. $100,000 ain't shit. It's not. I love you guys. I love you young fighters. $100,000 ain't shit. It's really fucking not. It
That's
sounds
part
a
of the
huge number. I mean, it's more than not shit. It's more money than you've ever made, but it ain't shit. It's nowhere near what you're worth. These guys should have full medical benefits when they fight. If a fighter gets hurt outside of the UFC cage, they would pay for it their own self out of their fucking pocket. That's fucked up. That's so fucked up. It's in fucking insane. Ridiculous. Dana White is using the same format that professional boxing is used for generations because that worked. This is fucking different. Pay these fucking kids money. When you get signed to the UFC, you should get $1 million signing bonus. Boom. You got $9 billion fucking dollars, you cheap fucking cocksucker. You fucking slumlord. Pay these guys $1 million, give them full medical benefits till they fucking die. You piece of shit. I can't say it any other way. And he looks at us with a smile on his face, condescending. You know, De La Hoya calls him out, and the only he could talk about is, oh, yeah, well, you're a cocaine head. You know, you're a fucking loser. You're a fucking bitch. I mean, fuck you, Dana White. That's what I got to fucking say.
Do you think that if there were some cuts to be made in salaries other places, it'd make sense to start at him?
Yeah, well, fuck yeah. Who's gonna fucking? But Dana White spends $1 million at the fucking blackjack tables. Yeah, what the fuck, dude? And I'm not saying he shouldn't be rich. He built the UFC. Yeah, it wouldn't be anything without him. But he just doesn't give a fuck. And you know, maybe I don't know all of the ins and outs of the business and what his costs and overheads are. $9 billion is a lot of fucking money,
well,
man.
You know what? I think one of the only things we could compare it to, because wrestling is not gonna, you know, there's no professional actual sport wrestling apparatus that's really generating huge numbers for us. So we can't really look at that. I feel like kickboxing also, there's not enough there. But let's compare some of the highest earners in boxing, like the highest net worths, to some of the highest net worths in MMA. Just because I feel like those two sports get compared all the time for a long time.
Not even close.
Yeah, no, for a long time, everyone was like, MMA is going to swallow boxing. It's a lot more popular in the zeitgeist. It's on people's minds a lot more. It's getting pushed in the culture a lot more. But is that reflective of who's making the most money? And this is according to MMA SIK. So if this is all... And public net worths are always a little weird, but this is what we have to go off of. Number one richest MMA fighter right now, Conor McGregor. About $200 million.
Well, he also
far and away
sold a liquor company, though, too.
Most of his earnings came from the acquisition and business deals he was doing outside of the UFC. Hang on. There's a little
ambulance.
bit of an ambulance. Yeah. I live in downtown Buffalo.
That's all right. Good enough.
Probably a rowdy Bills fan that's worried about Patrick Mahomes and how we're going to deal with that. I am too. But coming in second, Khabib Nurmagomedov, $40 million. So already
huge gap.
Massive, huge gap. Now $40 million is a lot of money.
Still a lot of money.
And honestly, Khabib's probably going to make more when he kills it on the soccer field because that's what he's doing now. Hell yeah, champ.
He's playing soccer.
Great for him. So already huge drop off coming in 3. George St. Pierre, $30 million. So it's just constant downward, huge downward increments just from the top 3. Let's take a look at the highest paid boxers. No surprise, number 1, Floyd Mayweather, $450 million. This is a guy who repeatedly gets in trouble with the IRS. And his ability to read is a little bit questionable.
That was a fun one. I enjoyed that a little too much. 50 Cent reading The Cat in the Hat. That was.
Oh my god, that's the thing that never was that I wanted to be.
Poor Floyd.
Now, unfortunately, like with MMA, you get a huge drop off. Coming in at number 2, George Foreman, $300 million. And obviously, some of that's going to be the grill money.
Foreman grill money.
It's not nothing, man. Manny Pacquiao coming in at number 3, $220 million. And then below him, Oscar De La Hoya, $200 million. And that's with his recreational activities. So top 3 compared to in boxing compared to the top 3 in MMA. Just from those numbers, it's not even in the same stratosphere. There's one guy, one aberration who, with a combination of having the right attitude, the right look, the right success inside of his competitive sport, was able to make the most amount of money you can make as an MMA fighter that we know of right now. I don't even want to get into basketball because that's just a fucking sad. You got billionaires in basketball. You got Michael Jordan, you got LeBron James, like big B dudes. That's we're definitely not there. But also it's a team sport, so the dynamics are always going to be a little bit different. But yeah, it's really rough. It's rough to look at those numbers and think that the UFC is doing everything it can. Now, obviously, boxing doesn't have a super great pension program either. So
and the lower level guys are still not making shit.
Exactly, they're holding down a day job.
But it's just a fucked up template. It's different too because Dana White likes to act like he has some kind of ownership over these guys. Like, these are my dudes. They better stay in line, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, he doesn't really give a fuck about them. He doesn't. You can't look me in the face and tell me you give a fuck about someone that you paid fucking $6,000 to, that was fighting on the fucking UFC card, fought on the undercard of a UFC card for you to fucking promote your fucking business. That's the potential of being the next great thing. I don't know. It fucks me up really, really bad. And it makes me fucking sad. And I just think there's got to be a better way. People
when there's small stuff, isolated incidents that he can really jump on for either just a PR move or because he genuinely does want to help. Like when Walt Harris's daughter went missing and was tragically found to have been murdered. He put the whole UFC media team and resources behind getting the word out. And it was a very inspiring, good moment. Like when Matt Hughes got hit by a train, he was very present and making sure he was okay.
Great guy.
He loves latching on to individual high visibility things that he can do that cost him nothing, that end up making everybody think he's a great guy.
It's an awesome story, Kev. I just want to show you something real quick. $9 billion. Go fuck yourself, Dana White. That's all I can say about that. I'm very nice of you to do the charitable works that you did to help out with the kidnapped, murdered daughter, and Matt Hughes getting hit by a train. That's awesome. What about the guy that has fucking brain damage now because he fought on your fucking undercards and can't have a fucking job anymore, and is broke, living in his mom's house because he has no fucking money? You piece of shit. You know what I'm talking about? There's a lot of people out there that are really fucked up from fighting that you just discard. And you bring them back for Hall of Fame events and say, "Hey guys, we love you."
Wheel them out.
Hey champ. Hey champ.
Hey, we're doing a UFC. Where are they now?
Yeah.
Can you speak through a tube yet, or are you still doing the rest of your physical therapy?
Call me when you will start seeing that, Kevin. It will start to fucking happen. The UFC is still a young sport. It's only been around for 10, 15 years. We're going to start seeing, maybe longer than that, 20 years. I don't even know. When have we celebrated the 20-year anniversary of the UFC yet? I don't know. Have we? I think no, we have. We have. But I mean, like,
oh, you mean the Fertitta era? Like,
yeah, the Fertitta, the real UFC. Into
I forget
I'm
when
talking
it's
about UFC. Rich Franklin. What's his name? Fucking Franklin, Forrest Griffin. Those guys. Chuck Liddell.
It's they purchased it in 2001. So yeah.
You're going to start seeing guys 20 years coming up. You're going to start seeing guys that are really fucked up. You're going to start seeing your old fucking heroes that are fucking Muhammad Ali that can't talk, they're fucking like shaking and out of it and shit. It's gonna fucking happen, man. Fighting is not a pretty sport. It's not fucking nice. Your body is not supposed to be doing the shit it's doing over and over and over again like you do in the fight game. And
well,
I don't know.
Dana White
just doesn't seem to give a fuck.
Dude, I like if you can already look at some Pride guys and really see that.
Vandalay Silva,
Mark Kerr. That's one that's hard. Just when you look at him in his peak and him on the decline, and now fucking BJ Penn.
Yeah, that's BJ like, Penn. Luckily,
Jesus.
BJ Penn is royalty in Hawaii. Mark Kerr is teaching like he's like an assistant wrestling coach at like some junior college somewhere, trying to make ends meet.
Yeah. Did you hear BJ Penn's running for the governor of Hawaii?
Oh God.
Yeah,
please
I know.
I think that would be. I'm my whole life anymore is just watching the world explode. It's unfortunate, but I can't help myself.
I think the Hawaiian, and I say this as a complete outsider, but I think the Hawaiian people can do better. Do you really need video? Your most recent, your governor's most recent fight to have been when he got rocked by a drunk dude on the street, like
Dylan Danis style.
Okay, now hang on, because that's a little bit different.
It's a little bit different. Getting sucker punched and getting choked out is a little bit different. It's a good point. Nobody choked out BJ Penn. He just got pummeled.
Yeah, and when Ryan Hall gets you in a heel hook and you turn the wrong way accidentally, you gotta. It's very sad that no one cares about this topic. No one really gives a shit. Dana White could pay these guys so much fucking money. He has the money to do it. He just doesn't fucking care. No questions. No question in my mind. He just, I got to pay people more. Let him go fight for Bellator. That's his fucking mindset. Wait, we'll just get new guys to do it. Everybody wants to be in the UFC. And unfortunately, you got these young kids that are fucking stupid that don't know any better. They're like, yes, sir, I'm going to be in the UFC. I'll take $6,000. Oh, fuck yeah, I'm a UFC fighter. Like $6,000, you can't even buy a car with $6,000. Yeah,
you can't put it. That's not even a down payment on a house.
You can buy a
like a used fucking Chevy.
You can buy a Mitsubishi Mirage with 150,000 miles on it for $6,000. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. It's fucking pathetic. $9 billion fucking dollars. I don't want to say it again, but I'm done.
You know what the biggest? I think one of the under the radar shittiest things that Dana does is, I think honestly, his treatment of Francis Ngannou. Like, whenever the chance comes, he loves talking about how this guy was in a salt mine in Cameroon. He traveled to France. When
it's convenient to him,
he found his way here. The minute Francis does his entire push towards his first title fight, he's this champion in it, like hardworking success story, hardest punch ever, loses to Stipe Miocic. I was never friends with Francis Ngannou. I didn't like him. He's a fucking piece of shit.
I'll give it. That's promoter shit. I guess I can run with that. I don't fucking.
No, because it goes even further. Like, the more you see it, the more fucked up it is. Because after that, he got scrubbed. He wasn't anywhere. It took him it took a dominant win over Rosenstrike before he was like in the conversation again. And before that, he had the worst match of all time with Derek Lewis. And this incredible story of a guy who should be dead in a salt mine coming to America and getting to the UFC. It just becomes, he sucks. Like, his whole value as a human to me is nothing now. But in the
back
lead
to the
up,
salt mines.
Then he has an amazing first round KO. The push comes back. Like, oh yeah, he's an immigrant, fucking great guy. Beats Stipe. Oh my god, this dude started here in this like sports jersey and jeans in the desert, and now he's UFC champion. All the marketing. Francis requests a little bit of extra time to recoup. We're stripping Francis of the belt. Fuck this guy. I was never Francis Ngannou's friend.
Crazy.
He's like, this motherfucker asked for a little bit more time.
It's so fucking crazy. It's so fucking
How fucking
crazy.
dare he? this goddamn miracle child.
No,
I complained that he wasn't good at wrestling. He got good at wrestling and out-wrestled Stipe Miocic. He wants a little bit more time. Fuck this idiot.
Yeah.
New title shot.
Dana White is a tyrant.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it, man. You know,
What sucks is
he's
I
responsible for building it.
I don't have any faith in Chatry from ONE FC to be the guy that does it better with how much money he's losing.
It's unfortunate, it really is, because Dana White also knows that there will never be any real competition for him. It's just not going to happen. So he can continue to do whatever he fucking wants to do, because as much as we talk shit about this, you know I'm going to watch the next fucking UFC fight. You know I'm going to watch the next big event. You know I'm going to tune in the next time I see fucking, I don't know, who's insert huge name, Dustin Poirier, fucking Michael Chandler, fucking Oliveira, whatever the fuck is coming out there.
Dom Cruz, Henry Cejudo 2, whatever.
Yeah, you put a blockbuster fight up there, I'm going to go down to the wing house and watch that shit. Or I'm going to buy it at the house because I'm a recluse and spend $60 on it, even though I'm cheap as fuck. Yeah. You know, and he knows it.
Speaking of, I want to just end it with a big old, Dana White, please just use your infinite power to do good. Because you are so tied to the UFC, even with the mouse hanging over you. I feel like you could unilaterally decide to pay all these guys a little bit more. And I don't think anyone would give a shit. Like, people would help you. People will be like, yay.
$9 million, Kev.
$9
billion. It's ridiculous.
Say that again. Say that again, and think about how many generations of your family would be okay with $9 billion.
Right. And granted, it's not all his money. It's, shareholders.
He's got $400 million just on his own. At least that's like the last time I checked. Dana.
He earned it, I guess. I don't know. What fucking knows? But take $100 million of that and distribute it to the 100 fighters you have signed in one way or another. You didn't even got to give them $1 million each. $1 million might even be a big number. 500,000.
Yeah, how about
a couple $100,000 when you
this is crazy. This is crazy and so radical. But how about everyone not making a certain amount gets a guaranteed $60K a year to just not die?
Yeah, that's it.
We call it the bare minimum.
In four benefits, you fucking asshole. Like you can make it out to the UFC Performance Institute. They're not going to pay for your fucking knee surgery.
I love that I get to hang out with Forrest Griffin. That's great. But I'd love it if my ears didn't ring all the time.
Thank you so much for flying me to Dubai first class. It was such an awesome experience that I'll treasure forever when I go back home to the fucking one-bedroom fucking apartment in the fucking hood that I live in that I really can't afford. You know what I mean? Thank you so much. You're the best, Dana White. You make dreams come true.
I think because he always wants the ability for someone to say, I was living in my car before I became a UFC champion, and now I own a yacht. He wants that rags to riches, blue collar shit. Because we fetishize the idea of suffering. Like, we love the idea of suffering and someone having a terrible life until they don't. It can't be that everyone operates at a cool baseline. It's not like you have one of the most entertaining and dynamic sports on the planet where people can do almost anything to hurt the other person and it's okay. No, you gotta also have the rags to riches. I dodged bombs on my way to school. Like, I got shot at every day in the Ukraine.
Everyone's chasing after that dream. I just told a kid today. I just told some dude this morning at 9 a.m. the fucking UFC kid that wants to be in the UFC. I was like, bro, I'm going to tell you like I tell everybody else. Don't fucking do it. Like, the odds of you making it are just so astronomically slim. I want to believe in you. I want to believe that you're going to be the special one to do all the right things. That's going to get lucky. That's going to make it through the UFC. And once you get there, the odds of really making fucking GSP money are so astronomically fucking slim. It's ridiculous. It's such a fucking long shot.
Yeah.
And so much damage and so much sacrifice. You're going to break relationships. You're fucking not going to be able to spend time. You're going to miss things. You're not going to spend time with your kids. You're going to lose jobs. You got to fucking suffer and scrimp for such a long time to be able to get there. Like, it's just not fucking worth it. However, if you're going to do it, I can help you. That's what I always tell you. You know what I mean? If you're going to do it,
this will detrimentally affect your life, but I'm your best shot.
Yeah, and it's fucked up because there's still a part of me that has dreams of putting a fighter in the UFC, even aside from that, just because there's that glory of doing it. Yeah.
And just to putting aside all of the abuses that happen in professional wrestling, because that's a whole other laundry list of things that are bad. I do like the fact that you can enter professional wrestling as some middle class dude from Milwaukee or Connecticut with no interesting things about them whatsoever, but you can just decide in the ring to become Rusty Hook Joe, the possessed railroad worker who kills people, and that's just you. People don't know that you're a tax lawyer on the weekends because you're Rusty Hook Joe.
Colby Covington can do it apparently. Don't say his name 3 times, or we got to spend 20 minutes talking about him. I'm done with that fucker. I'm too tired for that shit.
He's like Candyman. He'll show up here with a bunch of women that look sad.
Fake hookers. Brendan Schaub talked about how he was hanging out with Colby Covington one night on doing a podcast or some shit like that, and Colby tried to make one of his hoes do some shit like come rub your shoulders, and she was like, I ain't rubbing your motherfucking shoulders. You didn't pay me enough for that. You didn't pay me to do that. You paid me to hang out with her, some shit like that. He pays these girls to come hang out with him. She's like, I ain't rubbing your fucking shoulders. Go fuck yourself.
This is the one instance I gotta say I feel bad for Brendan Schaub, because it sucks that he had to hang out with Colby Covington.
Brendan Schaub's not bad. He knows what he's talking about in MMA, I guess. I don't fucking know.
I think he's he's a tough pill sometimes. I went and saw his stand up, and I think my question that I asked during the Q&A got more laughs than most of us said.
That's fucking great. What'd you ask him?
I asked him if how often, just standing next to Eddie Bravo, does he desperately fear for his safety?
That's pretty fucking
funny. He told this story about how Eddie was telling him to smoke. I don't even fucking remember, man.
God, I remember Brendan Schaub from The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah?
Oh my God, that was 2009, 2010, 12 maybe.
Kimbo Slice was on that season.
He was on Kimbo. He was with Kimbo Slice. He was with Matt Mitrione.
Shit.
Who won that season?
I think it was Matt Mitrione. Hang on.
Yeah,
I want to say it was Matt Mitrione.
I remember that one. That was when I used to watch it religiously. It used to come on Spike, and then I think the WEC came on after it, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, that was back when there were 2 different. Or
they
hadn't been bought out yet.
Hadn't been bought out yet.
And that was the first. That was the first heavyweight season, where it was just heavyweights.
Yeah. Find out one. I forget about who were the coaches. God, I'm trying to remember.
It was Rampage and.
Yeah, that's right. That was the one where Rampage lost every fight, but the Finesse won. And they had
Rampage and Rashad, and you're just realizing, wow, Rashad Evans is a great coach.
the one clip of Rampage breaking the door. The door down, it looked like a fake door to me. It was like fucking on everybody's.
Rampage Jackson. Rampage Jackson. He's probably so happy that John Jones exists. Not because, even though John Jones knocked him out.
Right.
I don't know if he knocked him out or it was a decision, but he beat him in a fight. But before John Jones, without John Jones, I feel like people would be looking a lot more critically at the weirdest shit stuff that Quentin Rampage did.
Well, he was
humping that freaking reporter on air, just that's sexual assault.
But gee, you could say that about anything in 15 years ago. The world was so much different. Like, you couldn't make Tropic Thunder today.
I know. I'm saying he's probably wow. I'm glad that this absolute villain exists. So no one's
Could you imagine if a movie like Airplane came out today or Blazing Saddles came out today? God, old
white lady talking jive.
You'd never make it to the movie theater. You'd get fucking shot. I don't even think you can play a replay of Blazing Saddles anymore.
Blazing Saddles.
Anyway, all right, Kev, you ready, man? Who won the season? We figured it out yet? Are we still looking for it?
I'm trying to find it, but Roy Nelson.
Oh, that's right, Roy.
Wow, Roy Nelson. Good for him.
Yeah, he was. that he was by far the favorite on that season. He had the most experience. He fought in some weird fucking promotion for a while. Yeah, big country boy Roy Nelson, man. He made a run
Big
for a while.
country.
He was around for big country.
Is it him that I heard someone say about somebody like him? I'm pretty sure it was Roy Nelson. Like, he would never really do jiu-jitsu, but he's like a black belt. Like,
Yeah.
he would use in the octagon, he would mainly just strike, but like he's also like a highly
I remember, but he was
grappler.
a good wrestler. I mean, he was tough to take down, and he would take a bitch down if you got on him. And once he got on top of you, he was a fucking monster. Can you imagine having Roy Nelson on top of you?
Yeah, he's a black belt. He's a black belt.
He's been a black belt for a long time. He was a black belt for.
Who's he under?
I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out. But he was a black belt when he was on the show 10 years ago. He's been a black belt for a while. I saw him in a grappling match. There's a video of him in a grappling match with some other well-known grappler. And I can't remember who it is. And he did pretty well.
He's the Henzo Gracie black belt.
There you go.
He's a Henzo Gracie guy.
Straight from Henzo gave him his black belt or under the Henzo affiliation. Oh, well, there you go.
No, Henzo himself. Yeah.
That's legit as fuck then.
Wow. That's.
All right,
you
Kev.
look so slim in the gi. You want to give any shout outs to the boring fight that cost you $50 or?
Oh yeah, Jesus! I don't want to give it any more recognition. It wasn't deserving anything. Like, you guys should be Thiago Santos and Johnny Walker. What's his last name? Is Johnny Walker? Is that it?
Yeah, it's Johnny Walker. Yeah.
Like, you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. Like, I was so excited to watch that fight. I was so stoked to watch that fight. And I didn't do it, but I was about to pull the trigger. It was plus 900.
Yeah, you made the post on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, it seems like a safe bet. And then
plus 900 for a decision. That's how crazy. No one thought it was going to go to decision. Then they went out there and fought like that. It was embarrassing. Most of these guys. I don't know how Dana White did talk shit to them about that.
I mean, it was a fight night, so maybe because it wasn't like Lewis Ngannou, where it was like this. I feel like the expectations were modulated a bit.
Yeah, but you got two guys that are trying to go for a title fight. The winner of this could arguably be a light heavyweight title contender, and this is the fight you put together to get your title shot. I hope they both bumped down fucking 2 spots and they give the title shot to somebody else. Neither one of them deserves it after that performance. It was horrible.
Give it to Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, Johnny Walker was trying to bump back into the top 10, I think, or some shit. Like, who the fuck knows?
That was a hype. His was like a really.
He was hurt for a while. Yeah, he was hype. He was hurt and came back.
Yeah, he hurt himself after a somersault victory dance, right?
Weightlifting. Weightlifting is what he said.
Weightlifting.
Tore his pec or something like that. Weightlifting or some shit.
I did think he injured himself doing a backflip at some point. Like, and I remember
that's
that
the guy who beat Matt Frivola. I remember he did a backflip and broke it, or jumped up in the air and threw, or jumped off the cage or something like that, blew his fucking knee out.
Yeah, I remember, like, Johnny Walker was making a lot of comments talking about I'm gonna beat John Jones. I guess everybody in that division has to talk about beating John Jones
because everybody wants that's the red panty night.
But a lot of people had a lot of hope in him doing it. Did his performance seem a lot different than usual? I know he's coming off injury, but.
He played a very passive game, and Santos didn't really want to try to engage. God, I think the number of significant strikes landed was probably, I don't remember. I could do the research on it, but it couldn't have been more than 10 each, if that. God, it was horrible. If we're talking about 5 rounds of high-level top 10, I think, fucking... legitimate top 10, even if Johnny Walker isn't there, he'd take time off, but he's a top 10 talent.
Yeah.
This is what you guys got, the 2 deadliest guys, and after what Santos did to John Jones, had a lackluster performance. This is his opportunity to come back, and then fucking Johnny Walker wants to showcase his skills.
His whole leg broke. Like, his whole shit was fucked. Like, I think he had a double MCL ACL tear.
Yeah.
And the fact that people were like, how the fuck was he standing and throwing kicks?
Yeah, he's still throwing kicks.
Yeah. And then
he got fucked.
Listen, I just want to end the show saying this. I don't care what's happened to him now and what his whole career looks like right now. Dominic Reyes beat John Jones. I don't give a single fuck.
I think you're right about that. $9 million, guys. $9 million.
I think every episode we're gonna have to say $9 billion.
We'll just
until shit changes or until the price goes up to 10, which it will.
From now on, the podcast will be known as the $9 billion podcast.
$9 billion podcast.
$9 billion.
Welcome back to the UFC's net worth.
Go check out No Judges Needed, guys. Off Colony, a bunch of other shit. You can use BJJ, Trinity BJJ for that. Off Colony is a great tattoo-owned company. It's my buddy owns it. They've got really cool shit if you want to check that out.
Yeah,
No
just
Judges
take a good look at one of Kevin's arms for a good look at the cool stuff that he does.
His rash guards are dope. You should check one out too, Kev. I'll try to get you one. They're fucking
hell
dope.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
When you come down, I'll get you a rash guard.
Off Colony, go check them out. And obviously, all the best articles and this podcast can be found at Uncle Coach Kevin blog. Link down below. Go check that out. We're building a super team.
The new website
really
should
cool
be up live soon, Kev. The new website should be live probably by the end of the month. I'm still working off the Squarespace website, which is kind of blah.
Yeah,
but the new one's kicking soon.
Yeah,
already got a couple articles ready to drop. Yeah,
Hell yeah! So
a few articles to drop soon.
So go check that out and be on the lookout for the next episode of Under Pressure. Just saving up money for travel because travel's a bitch. But if you want to help me out, I might be putting out a Patreon soon, so you can.
Good work too, Kev. It was a good show. You and the meal was good.
Yeah, no. Shout out to Emil Fisher who just had his first win at black belt at a Sogi a couple days ago. Good on you. Now you got to come after Kev G. You know,
fuck that. He's good. Fuck that kid. I want to hate a meal, then I roll with him. That motherfucker's good, dude. Fuck that shit.
He'll make you just feel
me, kid.
He's
good at jiu-jitsu. Don't let that motherfucker fool you. That motherfucker's good, dude.
Burt Reynolds' guard, people think it's a joke. It's not a fucking joke, man. He'll fuck you up.
That fucking kid's good at jiu-jitsu. I was like, he fucking man child me and shit, like was like toying with me. It was embarrassing.
Yeah, no. So go check out his stuff. He's actually got a DVD out about the Burt Reynolds card, so go check that out. We always love pumping up our friends of the show. So yeah, it's very late. We're tired, and I got a 6 a.m. class to get to because I don't know if you know, but I'm better than you. God.
I don't know if you knew it or not. Kev's better than you.
I just am. I shower in champagne every morning. It's fucking great. My life's great. I got some caviar in the fridge.
Champagne and tears.
Your tears, because you cry, because I'm better than you. I'm going to get fucked up tomorrow. I'm going to get ankle picked and heel hooked, and then I'm not going to be able to walk. That's karma coming my way. But yeah, No Judges Needed, Off Colony, and obviously the blog. So go check all those things out and be on the lookout for more stuff on this channel. I have been your host, Kevin Bradley, joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Kevin Gallagher, and we will see you the next time you find yourself stuck in K-Guard. Good night.